News with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, University of Kansas forward Silvio De Souza will miss 12 games as he was among 4 players suspended by the Big 12 on Wednesday for their roles in a brawl between KU and K-State. Did you guys see that?
I'm surprised it's only 4 games. It seemed pretty...
12 games.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes... Thank you, Gina. It makes a lot more sense.
I was actually watching this with my dad. Just randomly, I was like, "What's happened? Everybody's rushing to the. Did they just celebrate? Are they winning?"
In a day of playbacks and everyone's getting alerts on their phone and wristwatch and stuff, when something breaks out in real time and you're watching it in real time, it's now right there with hearing one of your favorite songs on the radio.
Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't cue it up. It's there.
Yes.
Whoa! And it's the same product.
Can
it's
you
just
believe
you're
we're
there
seeing
in real time when something happens. Yes.
So in addition to his suspension, which was the stiffest of the 4, and you'll see why, I'm going to show you, the Jayhawks' David McCormick received 2 games ban for K-State. James Love will miss 8 games. Antonio Gordon will miss 3. So if you didn't see it, let me just real quick tell you what happened, then I'm going to show you. And they do a nice play-by-play, but I'll just give you the idea. So Kansas started dribbling out the clock while holding a 22-point lead in the final seconds. K-State's DeJuan Gordon stole the ball, started dribbling down the court in an effort to secure one more layup, this according to Yahoo Sports. So Kansas's Silvio De Souza, sprinted behind Gordon, came up with a massive block. He kind of stepped over him, kind of started talking shit a little bit, and then it was both benches cleared. One of the guys,
so
I believe,
K-State and Kansas.
Yeah, big rivalry.
It's like when the Army and the Navy play
That's
each other.
right.
Like you
At
guys
Allen
are the
Fieldhouse.
same, and you hate each other.
That's right.
Except that I imagine it's a big brother, little brother thing with Kansas and K-State.
Yeah.
I mean,
We were
Kansas
But I just want to
deal.
put it out there to those Rich Whitey living up on the hill, K-State, Kansas, Army, Navy, Crips, Bloods. It's all just the same to us. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same guys from the same neighborhood are
Sure.
killing each other.
Yeah.
We look at it as...
Knock
I mean,
yourself
what
out.
I'm saying is, hey, somebody said... The Crips killed a bunch of Klansmen. I'd go, oh, okay.
Sweet.
Well, that's good. That seems smart. But we killed a bunch of versions of ourselves that are slightly different.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's weird how humans are that way.
Well, we hate K-State. Rock Chalk Jayhawk,
what do you
KU.
think? What do you think the Crips and the Bloods, and the entire Crip and Blood existence, which probably goes back to the 60s here in L.A., right? And has now been colonized by the rest of the country. There's Crips and Bloods probably in Indianapolis and stuff like that, right? In the entire existence of the Crips and the Bloods, have they killed one Klansman? One.
That's a very good question.
Job not well done, Crips and Bloods. You've killed hundreds of each other,
of your own,
but you're not one Klansman.
It's a fair question.
This is a drive-by by mistake. You know what I mean? He's on his horse. He's on the wrong street at the wrong time. It's one Klansman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We should dig into that.
Yeah, and I would ask any Klansman, have you ever got a Crip or a Blood? I think
possible.
the answer, I don't know. I don't feel like we're
Well,
going.
Klansmen don't seem to kill each other, do they?
No, they don't kill each other, but they would
Okay.
kill the poor black guy who's an orthodontist or
Okay,
something.
sure.
You know what I mean? Sorry.
No,
Ryan,
let's see
you
this.
have
Because
thoughts?
I
Okay.
don't have thoughts on the Klansmen, but I have thoughts on this. But I'd like to... I'm gonna ask you a question, Adam, because you're a sports fan, and
right,
we're gonna
let's
Okay,
watch.
Watch
Let's
this,
watch.
and they'll
All right, game's running
announce
out.
for you. Turn it up.
There's 5 seconds. Oh, but he steals it. It's running down. Swats it.
Now watch, he
down.
kind of steps over and says some things.
He menaces him.
Is it-
Right.
Yeah.
Now the bench is empty, just unnecessary. Yep.
Now watch.
I always like the hates to see this by the...
Oh, this is bad.
This isn't right. Now, look in the top right corner. Someone's about to pick up a chair.
Oh.
There it
you
is,
see,
and they took it from him.
kids are all weaned on pro wrestling, which is a problem. Also, I
Off
do
the turnbuckle.
I do love the society we have. Like, someone's going to sue the chair manufacturer. You should have known.
They
You
should be
made that
bolted to
folding
the floor.
chair.
Oh, and the best part is, because we were watching it, the best part is there was 1 second left on the clock. Everybody went back to the locker room. You think, game over, they can't be together.
they have to run out?
They had to.
Fuck
they
that.
had to. The
No.
only people who were allowed to go back on the court were the 5 of each that were already on the court. Everyone else had to sit in the locker room.
Fucking hate referees.
And they just had to bounce the ball back and forth and finish the game. And the guys, but I don't think it's the refs, because the
Really?
announcers said, and Brian, you'll appreciate this, that's a new rule, and they think it's for betting purposes.
Okay.
Oh, actually, you know what?
Now it makes sense.
I love this rule.
No, but here. Yeah, I guess so.
Literally just bounced it back and forth, and then it was
Now
over.
for betting purposes, right?
Yeah, no,
All
that
right.
absolutely makes sense. Yes.
Question.
I appreciate an answer that makes sense.
Yes, me too. It makes perfect sense. You had a question, me sports.
So for people that couldn't see or just listening, the team that was ahead by 22 dribbling out the clock. One of the guys from the team that was down 22 steals the dribble. Kind of just sneaks in there, steals, goes up for a layup. The team that's up 22 goes in for a hard block, and then melee ensues, talking, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Let me establish this right away. Are we supposed to, as we're told from childhood by coaches, are we supposed to play to the final whistle, or are we not supposed to play to the final whistle?
I don't fault the guy who played to the whistle.
As do I not.
But the announcers did. They're like, "Oh, did he have to do that?"
Wait. Did he, the block or the steal or
the
both?
steal?
Or is it all just on because the clock's running?
Let me just shed some light on this,
please.
One of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history was not, in fact, a game-winning field goal or last-second interception by a DB from the Pats. One of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history is Leon Lett
and Don Beebe.
And Leon was
a troubled soul.
Leon's a troubled soul, but Leon had some difficulties. But Leon was going in for a touchdown that was going to finish the game, and it would have made it 55-14.
The Cowboys are killing the Bills. Leon lets a defensive player and picks up a fumble and is running it in for a touchdown with, I don't know, a few minutes left.
Okay.
Fourth quarter. They were crushing them. The game was over, and now they were going to beat them by. They're already up by 35 points with no time or 3 minutes left in the game. Or
pressure sacked by Jeffco and fumble.
The ball's out. Leon Lett's heading down.
The game's, decided.
Game's in hand.
Just for fun.
What was the final, Max Zapata? And he holds it out, and he holds it down low, and Don Beebe
smacked it out of his hand.
Right.
The last second.
At the 1 yard line.
Not even at the 2-inch line, and that's all right. Now everyone's laughing about it because they still won 55-14 or whatever it was, but that was a hustle play. When it wasn't going to make a difference.
Right.
It's not apples to apples, but everyone loved the fact that Don Beebe, who'd been vanquished on the field for 3.5 quarters and was done, the game was set, it was over, that guy sprinted the length of the field. He was probably running a deep post or something.
Oh, yeah, he was probably 30 yards away from the play. From the
line of scrimmage. So he had to run the whole... Everyone loves that he did that.
Sure.
The spirit. It's kind of the spirit of the game.
And it makes the other guy look kind of shitty.
It was
dumb.
Final score was 52-17, and then that would have made it 60 or 58-9 or whatever probably. But anyway, the point is this: the game was done. He did it. We love it. The guy steals the ball. Yes, play to the whistle. You're mathematically eliminated, but play to the whistle. Now, then you make the same argument to the guy who blocked the ball,
right? Exactly.
Because that guy's playing to the whistle too. The real problem is the menacing.
Yeah, they called
of course.
it. It was it was something weird. It was like a non-sport something.
That's what caused the fight.
Yes.
Now, the team that is behind should play to the whistle just for appearances.
Right.
The team that's ahead probably could have let the guy run down and score a layup with no time on the clock, but they played to the whistle as well. So far, so good. Than the menacing.
Right.
So the actions really weren't, and it was the rough foul probably wasn't a good action either, but it was really the menacing part.
Okay, now can I throw this out to you? Because I've been living with this for 11 years, and I would love your consistent take on this, because you're going to know where my heart lies. I'm a USC fan, but I'm going to try and describe this as accurately and impassionately as possible. 2009, UCLA, USC. USC is up 21-7 with 52 seconds left. The game is over. They have the ball. They are in the victory formation, taking knees.
USC's taking the knee.
They're going to take a knee and run it out. They're up by 2 touchdowns. They have the ball. The game's over. They take a knee. Then victory formation. They're not in a formation to run a play. They're in victory formation.
Right.
Take a knee. Rick Neuheisel, UCLA coach, dipshit that he is, calls a timeout. It's like, hey, game's still going. We're calling timeout.
Right.
For no strategic reason. It's a fait accompli at this point. It's academic. The clock will run out. But he symbolically calls a timeout like, hey, we're playing till the end, man. We're playing till the end.
Yep. right.
Pete Carroll says, all right, we're playing till the end. Next play, 50-yard touchdown bomb. 28-7. UCLA's rip shit pissed. Hey, man, what's going on? And I'm like, fuck you guys. You guys called the timeout. We were giving up. The game was over. It would have ended 21-7 with knees. You're like, we're playing to the whistle. You want to play to the whistle? Let's play to the whistle.
Look, I am...
And UCLA is still rip shit pissed about this.
Well, screw that.
Dipshits.
Yeah. Well, so here's the...
It's a great YouTube clip.
Here's the long and the short of it. Whoever draws first blood, whatever happens after that is on them. I have told you a million times. You want to jump your neighbor's fence and steal their hibachi, you'll probably get away with it, or you could get shot.
Or there could be a dog.
A dog. But you jump the fence. If you make the decision to do something, you take a knee to run out the clock, fine. You call timeout, now it's back on.
Yeah. You want to play to the whistle?
You have decided to do this, so that's 100% on you. And... you can say, well, they didn't have to go up top. They could have just taken a knee for it. No, that was a reaction to you taking that, calling that time out. People could get injured on another snap quite easily. So, or games get chippy, fights start, things like that.
There was a bit of a melee afterwards.
Right. So let it die.
Yeah.
All right, Gina, let's go. Here we go.
Well, Hillary Clinton was sued Wednesday for defamation for suggesting that Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard was a Russian asset. Gabbard is seeking at least $50 million in damages for harm to her reputation. Gabbard, she's a congresswoman from Hawaii, claims that Clinton's remarks on David Plouffe's podcast in October hurt her presidential bid and were motivated because Hillary's mad that Gabbard endorsed Bernie in 2016 instead of her.
I thought Hawaiians were chill.
Yeah.
Here's the clip from the podcast.
Rip a bonglo, brada.
I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far.
And the best part, according to the CNN report, after the podcast comments, Clinton's attorney confirmed to Politico that Clinton was referring to Gabbard by saying, if the nesting doll fits.
Wow. I got to say, they always do those things where here's a celebrity that got paid the most and earned the least at the box office. I'd like to add favorite of the Russians to my list of things that not too shabby. Sure. What about that Carolla? What happened last year? Well,
the Russians love him.
He was way overcompensated for what he delivered. The Russians love that guy.
Oh, no.
Okay. Because it doesn't mean you have to do something. It just means they think you're going to win. You know?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. All right, I don't.
You're malleable.
I don't like all the lawsuits out there, but also everyone's got to stop calling everyone everything all the time.
And Hillary's going scorched earth. All of a sudden, she has something to say. Everywhere.
All of a sudden, she has opinions.
Yeah.
I know. I've never seen this side of her, and she's been in front of a microphone for 40 years.
Yeah.
Like, I've not heard one thing. Now she doesn't like Bernie, and she doesn't like Tulsi, and yeah, eventually we're going to have to. I don't know. What does she do? She have to retract something or apologize or
I don't
something?
know. It might be a good Garrigus question with this defamation. I mean, it's also speculative, but who knows how far it'll go?
Well, I had a little study and a little something that happened that came to my attention, and it made me kind of think of it. So Nicholas Sandmann, CNN settled with him.
Yeah,
the kid, and they settled. To the tune of what Garrigus thinks is about $5 million. Okay. That's Garrigus's educated guess. But CNN settled, and now the Washington Post is going to have to settle, and they're going to move on to the whatever Times, and they're going to have to settle, and they're going with NBC and CBS. They're going to have to settle, and maybe even a celebrity that doxed him and said, go find this guy and smack him across the face or whatever.
Get a long list, I'm sure.
There's a long list, and hey, folks, when you take a 16-year-old and they carve up a narrative and kind of ruin the kid's life, and you got all the game film, be prepared now. Yeah. Where this is a new world order where people are coming back. And it was an interesting thing because I think the word is starting. It used to be, hey, we're a news organization. We say what we want,
right.
Or I'm an elected official. It was always kind of, like you'd say to Garagos like, hey, can you sue the city of San Bernardino for all the trash and the homeless? And you go, good luck. You can't sue the city of San Bernardino. Good luck suing the city
that
or whatever.
Entity,
right. And you'd go, well, can you sue Fox for these false allegations? You go, yeah, good luck suing that. Well, you can now, evidently. And there was a story where, and so you guys tell me if this stuff is connected. I think it's connected. So what I think is after CNN settled and Sandman is moving on to the next entities who are going to settle for lots of millions of dollars, people are starting to now kind of go, oh, I guess we should either do a retraction or apologize or do something because somebody can come
absolutely
come after us. And
I see that.
Dennis Prager was doing one of his like fireside chats, and he was just answering random questions, tweets or whatever. It does a video from his house, and someone said, Prager's always said, I don't believe the nature of man is good. I don't think it's evil either. It's just we'll do good and we'll do evil, and it needs to be addressed and contained. Sure. You know,
we'll do this in our best interest. We're animals at the end of the day.
Right. And so somebody challenged him. They said, hey, Anne Frank in her diary said, I believe the meaning of man is good. People are good. And obviously that's before she was carted off and gassed and executed by men.
She was still hiding in it.
Right. But that was her belief. Prager said, she's done a ton for Jews, and I'm a Jew, and I respect that, but I don't get my wisdom from 15-year-olds, which is something he said very consistently. I don't get my wisdom from people that are in the 8th grade or 10th grade or 9th grade or whatever. And I'm the same way. Like, okay, kids, I appreciate you're our future, but I don't want to I'm not going to take all my moves from you because I didn't know shit when I was 14 or 15, and you may not either. So he said, I disagree with her. I don't take my wisdom, but I appreciate her and what she's done. And then Newsweek ran an article that said, Dennis Prager ridicules Anne Frank.
Oy vey.
And
indeed,
yeah,
because that's what they do.
Headline?
And now he, of course, seems like the worst person in the world for anyone who ridiculed Anne Frank would make your biggest asswipe in the world. And they retracted it.
They did.
Yeah, because he said, hey, man, I'm going to sue you. I didn't ridicule Anne Frank, and you're making me sound like a horrible person. And what I'm saying is 5 years ago, I think they would have live with it.
Right.
Yeah. Now people are starting to realize that if you do say these false things, one way or the other, people can lawyer up and go after you. So
Absolutely.
I think we're kind of there now. I'll keep you posted on the Sandman thing, but he's just mowing them. And by the way, Garriga says if CNN settles now, everyone's going to settle. Mm-hmm. Because
take their cue.
Them settling means they found something.
Right.
So there's some internal document.
Their lawyers decided.
They're in the discovery phase, and in the discovery phase, they found some email or something.
I'm sure we can work this out.
And once you find that email that the person at the top doesn't necessarily know about, or the person cutting the check, somebody tells them, hey, guess boss, here's what we got. Here's what they found. And it's like, oh, fuck, get the checkbook.
Right.
So that's what his take is. All right. Oh, you have the title from Newsweek?
Yeah, so it was conservative radio host ridicules Anne Frank, and now it is conservative radio host counters Anne Frank's view that people are, quote, good at heart.
Well, that's accurate.
Oy vey.
And they're both not news, really. Yeah. They're not. That's the whole thing. It's not news.
Well, it's interesting to say, when Dennis Prager says, I don't get my wisdom from a teenager, 100% totally with you. And then you think, you can't say that about Anne Frank. Mm-hmm. When you think of somebody from history, you don't feel like that's the same realm to challenge.
Also, you believe people are good. I believe people aren't. What is that even really a disagreement worth publishing or even speaking about? So I assume the world is split in half on that subject.
Sure. Feels neither here nor there.
Right.
All right.
Well, Neil Young is officially an American citizen. Young had applied last year so he could vote in the upcoming presidential election.
He's Canadian?
Yes, he is.
It's so weird because he seems like the most American in his own weird
way.
Yeah, just the way he sings in his world and whatever.
He's very Canadian.
And
would you any guesses as to why he waited until now to get citizenship?
So the election
something
thing,
with
right?
Trump and a second term.
He
right?
would like very much to vote for the next presidential election. I think there's a picture of him. He was sort of saluting next to an American flag and registering to vote as a Democrat. And he also has a little video saying, "I'm proud to be a Camerican," because he is keeping his Canadian citizenship as well.
Next time I see Neil, I'm going to explain that his vote was canceled by Stacey Dash.
That's funny.
And now we're back to zero.
Yeah, no.
Thank you. Good work. That's a game changer.
So the Griswolds are hitting the stage. Broadway Vacation, the musical, with characters from the Chevy Chase-fronted film franchise, will make
Fucking
its
John Hughes' estate gets richer.
premiere.
Jesus.
John Hughes?
He wrote the original Vacation.
Did he really?
We looked that up. I'm
The,
pretty sure he did.
I imagine my kids' will go to Broadway, and the titles above the theaters on the marquee will just be called Stuff You've Heard of.
Yeah.
Things you like.
Things you remember.
Yeah, things that remind you of things
that
you
remind
like.
you from junior high.
Happy memories.
The musical.
Play.
And you'll
Yeah.
just go there and just all every fucking commercial, everything. Everything would just be something you remember.
I have to say, as an ardent fan of The Great White Way, this is devastating to me. All of these movies turned Broadway musicals. I mean, we have our Hamiltons, we have our Book of Mormons. We know original content works, but it's more fun and I guess easier to do this. I don't know. But no plans on going to Broadway yet, but they are starting in Seattle's Fifth Avenue Theater, and a lot of shows that start there do end up going to Broadway.
Chris,
It
Google
was-
me right.
It was, yeah. He's Googled right.
Wow.
Hughes
interesting.
wrote it. Christmas Vacation, right?
Well, no, he wrote the original Vacation, and
Which is a
thus
great movie.
every iteration thereafter is like characters by. He's going to get paid.
Oh.
That's what I'm getting at.
Max Pata had Christmas. Yeah, Christmas on there. Was that the original?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, John Hughes
Just
wrote
Vacation.
Christmas Vacation.
But the original.
The original
But
Vacation.
we're talking about the original movie.
He might be too young to know there was one before that.
Oh,
I know the
interesting.
original one. I was.
Yeah,
Actually,
did he
technically
write?
two.
Yeah, European.
Yeah, well, see, with
Used to love that
people,
one.
everything's got to be familiar, and there's two things going on. People are getting dumb, so they're like, I don't want to see any made-up book of this or Hamilton that. There's that. It's a combination between them, people getting dumber and fatter. They're like harder to move. Like, I'm not getting up for some shit I haven't heard of. I want Land of the fucking Lost, bitch.
So he
Is
wrote
that like-
Vacation, European Vacation, Christmas Vacation. Then
Wow.
after that, based on characters.
Right.
Interesting. Is that like instead of rich man, poor man, fat man, skinny man, like models don't get out of bed for less than $10,000?
Fat people literally don't get out of bed.
Super, just dumb and fat means I ain't going to attend your whatever unless it's some shit I've heard of.
Yeah, since
I know that I
unless
like.
recognize
Got to be
it.
based on a video game.
Can't
I'm
take
playing.
a chance on this.
That's right.
Right.
Okay, well, I guess we'll counteract that a little bit with some Tom Hanks news. He took to Instagram this week to set the record straight on a fake celebrity endorsement featured in a Canna Pro CBD ad. The ad featured a photo, and I'm sorry, Ken, I didn't warn you, I think we have it, of the 63-year-old actor with the quote, "The advances Dr. Oz has made in the CBD industry are remarkable. I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't already had the chance to try it myself. After using Canna Pro CBD for 2 weeks, I already feel like a new me." Many of Hanks' followers reacted to the post saying, as if Tom Hanks needs to feel like a new him, he's Tom Hanks. And of course, Tom went to Instagram and said that I never said that. I don't know what this is. I've never done this.
Oh, I like what he said. It's an international hoax. I bet I have a harder time, suing
Yeah.
or getting a cease and desist if it's offshore somewhere.
Well, you talk about the Russian bots and the election and all that kind of stuff. Just it's going to be everywhere for everything all the time.
Yeah.
I've said for a million years, thieves or ne'er do wells or people who are willing to live outside the margins and just do whatever they want. They're humans first, and nobody wants to get shot by a homeowner or bit by dogs, like what we kind of talked about. Like, what if we could just make all our money from our apartment in China or Russia? Like, I'll just go ahead and cook up a bunch of shit for the internet and CBD oil or elections or like whatever it is I'm doing. I can stay home and get paid. Crime is fine, but crime involves a certain amount of risk about cops and homeowners and dog bites and breaking and entering and all that kind of stuff.
Fingerprints.
And it's so much fucking easier just to
Yeah.
Get some CBD units moved and not have
You were
to
on your
leave.
computer anyway.
Yeah, we talked about the part where you're fat and you're dumb. You don't want to get up and go rob a
This
house.
is perfect. Hey, are you? We cut to the commercial in Russia. Are you fat? Are you dumb? Are you
right.
sitting at a computer right now?
Yeah, that could be like their herbal life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
work from your home, set your own hours.
That's multi-level marketing.
That's right.
That's right.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
That was the news with Gina Grad.